Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, say that thou art High King of heaven, thou art. Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
Well, hey everyone's Dungeon Corleone here, and well, sorry this took so long, but the reason I kind of froze for a little bit is because I know what this episode's going to be. I was going to have to review this at some point because I reviewed the remake we got last year for this. The one of three-parter remake for this. One. But because also Chapter 2 had come out. Keep in mind this was recorded around the time when Chapter 2 wasn't out yet. It was about to be out in 3 days. So this was recorded on September 23rd. Anyway, this episode is going to be for 2008's The Strangers. The Strangers. And as much as I don't like this film, it's not a rant. It's not a rant because it has some good qualities. I wouldn't say it's a terrible film. Actually, no, it's not a good film, but I wouldn't say it's rant-worthy. It's not nearly as rant-worthy as, let's say, the Rennie Harlan version from last year, which I thought was worse. You know my thoughts on that film. You want to go see my thoughts on that film? I'll post a link to the review in the description below. You can go check out that rant. And especially my rant for... so check out my rant for that film. So, what's the plot of The Strangers? So, this couple, this bored as shit couple that has the same facial expressions, like... that's most of their face the entire film. That is literally most of their face the whole film. They're back from a wedding reception, and they go to this family lake house. And of course, like, literally around 4 a.m., somehow this couple is not asleep in bed by this point. They're still awake. They receive a knock on the door in the middle of the night. Like, they receive multiple knocks on the door. Multiple knocks. And instead of either get cold feet and maybe leave the house. What ends up becoming, because they can't think for shit for brains, is this violent invasion by these three people with their faces hidden behind masks. And so the couple get themselves in a struggle, and they go beyond what either of them could be capable in order to survive. So, as my reaction, apparently a lot of people really like this movie, consider it one of the best modern horror films of all time, but I never understand why they do. I've never really been among the crowd that considers this one of the best modern horror films yet. To me, I think this film is overrated. It's not that scary. It's boring at times. And another problem I have. This film to me is one of the biggest examples of when characters make such stupid fucking decisions. To the point where I don't care what happens to either of them. And they're not just stupid, like, they have bad chemistry with one another. The couple don't look like they even love each other. They look bored and dry and tired most of the film. The remake was worse, but this isn't any good either. It has some good things about it, but it's not a good film like a lot of people make this movie out to be. It's not one of the scariest films of all time like a lot of people say it is. It's really not that terrifying. And a lot of the jump scares get repetitive quick. Because they repeat the same scares. with these strangers people. But how was this film made? So the director of the film, that's Brian Bertino, he wrote the screenplay it was going to be called The Faces, and it was the third screenplay he written. Bertino had an interest in the horror genre, how one could connect to an audience by scaring them, and even in interviews because he grew up watching horror films. He was inspired by thriller films of the 70s and writing a screenplay, an original film that would put the audience in the world of victims. And it was inspired by true events for Bertino's childhood. It was inspired from multiple break-ins he learned as a kid. It was inspired by as someone inspired by the Tate murders from the Manson family, inspired by another family murders. And according to production notes, and yeah, that's what it was based off of. That's why the film says inspired by real events. But after the film was shot and advertised, it was made on a budget of $9 million, was shot in location in South Carolina Falls 2006, and originally, guess what? This was going to come out in November 2007, but it got postponed to May 30, 2008. So after being shot and completed, it was released on that date, and it got mixed reviews from critics, but they praised the atmospheric tension, but they criticized the script and they criticized the characters. It didn't stop it from being a sleeper hit at the box office because a lot of people liked this movie. It made $82 million worldwide at the box office. And it's become a cult film. It did get a sequel, Pray at Night. And let me tell you something. That's the one Strangers film. The only Strangers film I tolerate and like is The Strangers Pray at Night. Why? Because, oh right, the characters were less stupid. Oh, they actually did shit to actually kill the strangers and actually escape. They actually grew a fucking brain and actually killed them. And everyone's like, that movie sucks because it's so campy and over the top, and that guy didn't make it scary. The first film isn't fucking scary. How is any of this shit fucking scary? This is not one of the scariest fucking films like some rake this out to be. It's not that terrifying. I have seen scarier films than this. I think The Shining is scarier. I think John Carpenter's The Thing is scarier. If I want an actually scary horror film, there's The Descent from Neil Marshall. I think that's actually scarier than this. I think Wreck is scarier than this. There are much better, scarier horror films than The Strangers. So, let's get on with the bad qualities in the story of the film. So, while this movie's horrible, there's not much of a story. It doesn't really explain what's going on. Most of the film, it's either the couple being chased around by the three killers, without much of a motivation. And either they're just exposing themselves to the killers, making dumb decisions after another, or either picking horrible hiding spots, or stopping their escape shit, or trying to pick shitty weapons that would not do shit. That's most of the film. It's either scene of the scenes of them running away. It's not different from other low-quality horror films. This film takes an old cliche horror technique, have the killer appear somewhere in the background near the character, disappear as they turn around, and repeat this scene to death. How many times do they use this scene? Oh, every single scene in the film. This film, it got redundant and lame. At first it starts off creepy when we get introduced to the killers, but after the 200th time this happens, it got ridiculous. And our lead characters are played by Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. I did not find these two characters interesting. They did not have much of a romantic connection. They did not have good chemistry with one another. They just look like they're tired. They just look like they can't stand one another most of the time in their dialogue. Whenever they say their dialogue, sometimes they sound like they're about to fall asleep. In the first bit you see them, they don't sound all that energetic. And even when they're terrified, they don't sound all that energetic. It's hard to care about them. And another thing, it's not just because of that. And also because they're stupid as fuck. Like, wow, I've seen stupid characters in fucking horror films, but these two take the cake for some of the dumbest I have ever seen. Like, there are plenty of much better home invasion films where the characters don't always win, but even they're not this stupid at getting themselves in this mess. It loses its attempted tension way too early, and you're just waiting for the intruders to stop playing games and just kill them. Because they're just done. Like, sometimes that's the thing. The killers, when they have the opportunity to kill them, either they just stand there or they take forever. And they just keep playing the same jump scare instead of just kill them and leave. Like, it's not like they're trying to make an effort to escape. Like, they're right in front of you, kill them. Instead, just sit there and wait. And stand there. There's times when the creepiness factor is there. Don't get me wrong. The first half it is, but it's not really till they start trying to escape. It goes downhill in the middle half. So how do we start off? So we start off the film with this narration that says, what you're about to see is inspired by real events. And stuff. Pretty much there. And then you start off with these houses and neighborhoods and this 911 phone call that's playing over a wreckage of a house. And then it cuts to the actual scene of the film where our two lead characters, they arrive at the childhood summer home of Scott Speedman's character after a wedding reception at like midnight. And instead of like the first thing they would probably do is either go to bed because it's obviously late, they basically stay up. They don't even try to go to sleep. Like, it's that late. Everybody's in bed by this point. Why do you need to stay up this late? With a bunch of decorated roses all over the floors. And stuff. Like, it's midnight. It's like literally morning. And Liv Tyler's character rejects Scott Speedman's marriage proposal. Like, will you marry me? I'm not ready for it right now. But please, no, I'm not ready. Keep fine. And then he calls his friend to pick him up in the morning. And so later, they decide, like, hey, let's have sex on the table. But then, of course, a knock on the door interrupts their attempt at sex. And so, when they answer the door, they find this young woman that just looks like she's all fucking grumpy and mad. Literally, when you see her face, she just looks like she just looks like that. You know, if this random stranger knocked on my door and if they were staring at me like that, you want to know what I would do? Oh, I would probably get cold feet, shut the door immediately, call the cops on them, and have them escorted off my property. Because these definitely already looks like a person that's ready to kill you. How do you two not see this? And this young woman asks, is Tamara there? And no, you got the wrong house. Do I? If she answers that, there's something up. That should clearly be your first warning sign that this person is actually clearly has plans in store. And then she just walks away. Like that's how about like after that I should have just left right away. But of course they don't get any cold feet. Like, that's why I would have left as soon as she left. It would have gotten immediately suspicious of this. There could clearly be something not right. I'm getting out of there straight away. As soon as that happens, I'm going. I don't care if it's 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm not staying around and getting my ass killed if she comes back. But Scott Speedman's character then builds a fire for Liv Tyler's character. And then later, oh no, I'm out of cigarettes. I'll go to the store. After this person visited your place, after that, I think the last thing you should do is leave your girlfriend at the house. Like, what if they come back? Oh, they do. You know, it's not like anything bad can happen now. Like, forget your cigarettes. Pack up all your shit and leave. Before they come back. But yeah, the woman comes back again, asks the same question, and She's back now. This should already be hints. There should be a hint, people. That should be a hint. If they're asking if Tamara's there, it's a trick to see if you're home and kill you. It's like, that's the thing. Tamara's, they're wondering, who is Tamara? She's not a real person. There is no Tamara. There's no Tamara. It's a trick they want. Like, if you're in the Stranger's verse and if the strangers come to your house and knock and answer that question, it's a trick question to see if you're in the house. It's a trick question to see if there's somebody there so they can target them. That's why they ask it. They need to see if somebody's in the house so they could kill them. It's what they're planning. There is no real Tamara. But Liv Tyler dismisses her again. And then when she uses an old used cigarette from the plates, she's standing in the middle of the room. And then this one masked man is literally watching her from inside the house. And now I will admit, one of the best things about the film is that shot. It's one of the few well shot moments of the film because it's silent. And it's a normal shot. And it's around the time you would not expect something like that to happen. It's the least expected time you would actually see one of the killers show up. It seems like a normal scene, and the killer just kind of stands there watching her. So, it's a nice way to introduce us to the killers. The masks are well designed. And at first, like, the first half seems kind of... And well, the first door knock was a little effective, and that shot's effective. Now, more on the stupid characters. There is one YouTuber I really like watching, named Cody Leach. And whenever he does mention the film, he says the characters are some of the worst things of the film. And they are the stupidest characters he's seen in horror. And you know what? He's right. He's actually right. Because these leads are as stupid as he says they are. Like here's the thing. The couple do manage to get out of the house on several occasions. Why would they not just run into the woods? Why not just run into the woods then? Like, seriously. It's like, take those guns. They have guns in the house. Take the guns with you. Run out the house. In case they follow you. Like, how about just run? Like, they're a couple that are not just that, they're a lack of depth. Then again, they don't have much chemistry to them at all. You don't know anything about them. You just jump right into it. So when they're being hunted, you don't have a connection to them. Like, they sound so upset and bored with each other when you first meet them, and they don't try to make them interesting. Then, at first they kiss, and then they sound upset with each other again. It's hard to know if they even love one another. At all. Like, and so there's moments that are predictable. Like, predictable moments that are either angering, and whatever, like... And even the killers themselves get stupid in the middle half because there's times when the preys are right in front of you. And you want to know sometimes they do? Just stand there. Just stand there instead of just kill them and be done. They have the opportunity to kill them. But instead they're just standing there expecting something to happen. Or just look around the house. Like, what is the motive of these guys? Like, if you're trying to kill them, just kill them. Don't just sit there like... Or don't just stand there like... Like, you could save us a lot of minutes of this film. I mean, like... Other than the only time they really try to stop their escape is the car scene and the whole noises bit. But other than that, most of the time they're either just standing there and watching them. It was fine for the whole empty room scene with Baghead, but the rest of the film, they just stand the rest of the time when they could just kill them right in front of their face. They just choose to sit there. You're like just waiting for them to do something, and they don't. Like, that's why I say the characters are stupid, because they're just sitting and standing there. They could just escape them anytime, but they don't want, but they choose not to. And people are going to tell me, they're scared, Donji Corleone, they're not thinking straight. You would be scared in a situation like this too. fine, maybe I would, but you know something, if I was out of the house, I'd run right into the woods. Or if the Tamara scene happened, the Tamara door knock happened the first time, I'd immediately drive out of the house. That's what I would have done. I would not stay there. I could tell they were probably going to come back at any time. If someone knocks in the middle of the night, if somebody knocks on the door when everybody's asleep in the middle of nowhere, shouldn't that be a sign? That should be a sign to get out. And at one point when the fire got built, it detected a smoke alarm, and Kristen, Liv Tyler's character, deactivated it. And then she notices that alarm is now sitting on a chair, and she realizes somebody somehow got in the house, despite the fact the door was locked when that Tamara lady came back. Her cell phone's gone, and the front door is somehow forced open. Apparently these guys can pick a lock, despite the fact that the door is locked. And the same woman from earlier, she appears in the house wearing a mask, and then of course retreats, and then you get another decently effective moment when the record that's playing this song skips repeatedly as they're like banging on the house. And which I will admit, that was kind of an effective moment. But then James is back. Scott Speedman's character's back. And he tells Liv Tyler's character that, don't worry, honey, there's nobody in the house. But then they see the young woman. It turns out, she's telling the truth, dude. If you see, if you see a record skipping, there should clearly be a warning sign. There should clearly be a sign that somebody is in the house. That should be your proof. But they see that same young woman again that's watching their house from outside, so I gotta go get my cell phone from the car, but the car's ransacked, but the car still works. And when he tries to drive it, this one other person goes at his neck, apparently that's supposed to be terrifying. Right there, how is that supposed to be terrifying? Just touching somebody's neck like that, that feels like a prank at this point. Feels like you're just trolling your victims. But the car still works, so they do try to use their car to leave. But then guess what? This other woman in a mask rear-ends them with her truck. And from there, they continue to make bad decisions after another. No common sense, and yeah, they have guns in the house, but it turns out Scott Speedman's character, has no experience with a gun because he never went hunting despite living in a cabin during the summer. And either they pick shitty knives as weapons, which would probably not do shit that much. That's the thing. Like I said before, you got your guns. Go on the road. Run. You have them fully loaded. If these guys come after you, shoot them. Just shoot them. And hell, one point Scott Speedman's character is carrying one of those knives and sees a girl standing there. And he could just run up and stab her. Just stab the masked woman. Repeatedly. But then Liv Tyler's character calls out his character's name, and so that ruins that. So she basically wrecks that opportunity for them to kill one of the killers. None of the attackers get wounded in this film. None of them. And even when they have the opportunity to kill them, because the killers are doing literally nothing but sitting or standing around, they don't. Everybody in this film is so dumb to live. Either Liv Tyler's character runs around the house terrified and injures herself. Scott Speedman's character tells his girlfriend, no, don't follow me. Stay in the middle of the house. Yeah, of course, the three can find her. Can probably find her when he goes looking for help. And yeah, and their friend that would soon to be their rescuer from all this. Despite all the warning signs he gets when he arrives, there's this rock that gets thrown at his windshield. You think maybe, how about call the police at that point? Or call for his friends when he's in the house. Instead, he just slowly wanders in the house. Looking around, acting like nothing's wrong. Bankhead's following him, and when he calls hello, he gets his stupid ass murdered. It's not just a stupid thing on Scott Speedman's character's part, it's a stupid thing on his friend's part. Like, how about just call the cops from your car? Or drive away and call the cops, because the strangers will probably be watching you. So just drive away and call the cops. Or how about just call your friends' names so they know you're there, and don't just walk up to the room when they're lawn paranoid at this point. So it's kind of, all three of them were stupid in that moment. So a friend did get himself killed. I mean, like, the first half it tries to build tension, but the thing is they repeat the same scares again, and it gets slow and repetitive. Like, hide stock. That loses impact. And even when the movie tries to avoid horror cliches, it falls into them right away and uses the same predictable scares. The killers feel often invincible and somehow are able to avoid getting murdered. And the editing was lacking. Like, this film is supposed to be 85 minutes long, and it feels longer than that. Like, either some scenes drag on way too long, some scenes, like, take forever to happen, to the point where this could feel like 2 hours. And the script is even badly written with the bad dialogue, and it feels like a script that's just there. There's no plot, no plan. So, after a little while, you do get the scene where the friend stupidly gets himself killed because Scott Speedman shoots him dead. Remember, hey, wait, I have an old radio in the barn on the property. So I'm going to go out and call. Should I come with you? No, you need to stay in the house. Stay right there. I'll be right back, honey. Don't worry. Nobody's going to come back. Yeah, they will. How do you not know they'll come back? But when he goes out of the house, somehow apparently Baghead shows up and knocks him unconscious. And after a little while, it's pretty much the rest of the finale, basically, is Liv on her own. Liv Tyler is on her own. And she has plenty of opportunities to escape. So she does get out of the house, crawls on the ground, and she does make it to the bar with the radio, but the other masked woman from the trucks destroys it. So instead of just run on the road and just run the rest of the way out, far away from the property, she goes back inside the fucking property, and instead of and literally hides in the fucking food cabinets. And Baghead then comes back in the house, looks around the rooms, and then instead of trying to, maybe open one of the cabinets, he instead just sits in the chair at the table, just sits there for a little while. And I'm like, bitch, get out of the cabinet and how about run out of the house? He's not looking for you. He's not looking. Run. Get out of the house now. Now is your chance to leave. She doesn't. She just sits there. Sits in there. And then, of course, when she just peeps her face like that, the Tamara home lady then does the same jump scare Baghead did in his introduction. And then destroys open the cabinet door. But then, of course, she runs out there. And then for a little while, Baghead is back and then knocks out Liv Tyler's character. And then the two wake up tied to chairs in the living room. And then Liv Tyler's character asks, "Why are you doing this to us?" "Because you were home." Which is an effective line. That is an effective line. And to be fair, okay, I guess this whole bit, this whole climax is not as Basil on the remake, wherein the couple splits up, and when the husband in the remake had that gun pointed at the lady that he could have just shot at any time, instead played all back up, "Bitch, where's my girlfriend?" And the girlfriend and then that lady did the shitty fucking laugh, danced like a ballerina. and then a shitty looking baghead knocked him out. At least it's not as insufferable as that climax. Like, the climax in the remake was a lot more annoying at that bit. At least the lead didn't laugh in this version. At least instead just try to knock him out and not waste her time laughing and dancing like a ballerina in the middle of the forest. Or dance like Black Swan. Yeah, doing the Black Swan dance. But the characters still weren't smart. They were much stupider than in the remake. But the guy who could have saved them was stupid. The killers themselves were stupid by not killing them straight away. The couple themselves were stupid by not just running out of the house with their guns. And just try to shoot them. Whenever the killers are just sitting there. And just sitting on their ass. Being lazy. Like, especially a film that has no plot. This is all the film. Some psychopaths kill people with no reason and don't speak anything. Now, usually the line "because you were home" was actually chilling. There wasn't much of a reason, and that reveals that Tamara was not a person. Like, the film is just apprehensive to watch. It keeps up the ominous atmosphere. And director Brian Bertino cut the explanations of the masked people because they wanted it to be more mysterious. It's fine with stuff like Michael Myers in the first Halloween movie, don't get me wrong. I prefer some things do stay mysterious at times, but here I kind of wish we did have explanations of these whole people. And the tension and creepiness that does occur in the earlier parts of the film, it dissipates midway. And then the character, and even though you can laugh at the stupid decisions the characters make, you're just left bored. Because whenever they're not making stupid decisions, nothing happens. So now you get on with the finale. So after revealing that they were attacking them because they were at the house, because they revealed themselves, the 3 people unmask themselves. And they basically, just the whole scene is just them taking turns stabbing the 2. They stab Scott Speedman's character first, and then they stab Liv Tyler's character off screen first. And then they leave. Another thing about these 2, they don't clean up their evidence. These 3, they do not clean up their evidence. They leave their evidence lying all over the place. I think they even leave their masks in the house. Yeah. Leave your masks. Leave your masks. Great idea. Well, it's not like the cops can trace DNA on those things, and hell, they didn't even wear gloves when they were there. So, they probably just left their fingerprints on the masks, and so the cops can just track them down. Like, take the masks as police evidence. Trace the fingerprints on them. Yep, that's the 3. Let's go after them. They track them down, and go to jail. Like, if there's another thing, if any smart murderer would do, is they clean up their evidence when they're done with their crime. That's what any smart murderer would probably do. But they don't. Let's leave our masks lying on the floor. Let's leave both their dead bodies in the house. Let's leave the whole house trashed. And, let's reveal ourselves to 2 young church boys. And let's take a brochure from them. Are you a sinner? Sometimes. And then one girl says, it'll be easier next time. So let's reveal our face to 2 boys that are going to go to the house. And they discover the bloody bodies of Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman's character. And Liv Tyler's character startles one of the boys and screams. And then after that is when you got the police call. So... But it literally just ends there. Both the stupid characters die, and the strangers go off scot-free. Although they really shouldn't, because they just left all their damn evidence in the place, and now 2 boys saw them. So wouldn't that leave them some witnesses? So wouldn't they be identified? Because they didn't clean up their shit? Why? Because they're so lazy? Like they're that lazy to kill them, and then they're that lazy to clean up their crime scene if they're trying to avoid being caught. And yeah, let's take a brochure from two church boys that are now gonna get suspicious feelings. Like, yeah, church boys that are literally right near the house. Oh my god. Like, you killed them. Just drive off and don't take the brochure. You probably just exposed yourselves. But yeah, that's the last piece of criticism. This ending is just a middle finger and nihilistic. You just watched 80 minutes of nothing. You watch 80 minutes of nothing resolve. Like, it's cold. Like, yeah, they want to be creepy and leave you thinking at times. It's probably more realistic as what would happen, but just watching someone be terrorized in a house in this kind of film for 80 minutes long, and then just seeing nothing really come off to a good resolution. Now, there's times when a downer ending in a horror film can work. Event Horizon, The Descent, somewhat John Carpenter's The Thing, The Shining, Saw. Downer endings that worked. You want to know why? Because either with Saw's case, it was fresh, it came out of nowhere, it was unpredictable. With John Carpenter's The Thing and Event Horizon was more vague. You can either pretend it ends on a downer, or you can pretend that the survivors just have PTSD. With John Carpenter's The Thing, yeah, the main characters who are remaining die, but guess what? The creature is dead. Kurt Russell destroyed it. So at least there's still some triumph. At least the creature is dead and it cannot spread to the world. With the Descent ending, Sarah didn't escape the cave, and I prefer the UK cut, not the shitty Americanized cut that cuts this bit. She didn't escape the cave, she hallucinated her escape, but guess what? You want to know what's something? She came at peace with her daughter Steph, and she finally stopped running from her problems. That was the point of that ending. She was at peace. And besides, if Sarah did escape, where would she go home to? Her daughter and husband are dead. And all her friends are dead. So what would she have left? Nobody. She'd be all alone. And then again, we have the shitty fucking sequel that fucks it all up. Right. And that's because of the American ending. But I have to pretend that film does not exist. The Shining, well, at least the wife and kid escape the hotel, and it's a well-shot ending. That's why those downer endings work. They're not middle fingers, and they wrap the story well. This is just a middle finger. This is a huge middle finger. Right there. Like, this is a film where I actually want the bad guys to get their due, and they thankfully do in the sequel. That's why another reason why I prefer the sequel is that the bad guys actually get killed. Now, do I have any good qualities of the film? Yeah, I do. That's why it's not a rant. Despite this being a negative review, it's not a rant. The cigarette scene where Liv Tyler is standing in the middle of the kitchen and Baggett is watching her, that's a chilling shot. That is a pretty chilling shot. I will not admit that. I will admit that. The first bit it's time we're home for the first bit was fine, but after I repeated again, it lost its edge. And the line "because you were home" is actually kind of terrifying. I will admit that. And the concept is a terrifying idea. Like, being in the middle of a forest, having these killers attacking you, and nobody knowing of that would be terrifying. But the characters are just too stupid, and it loses its touch. So other than those decent things I like about this film, and those are the reasons why I would watch this over the much worse Rennie Harlan one. That's going to be 3 movies. I don't know why. This is an overrated horror movie you can just skip. So in the end, I would just avoid The Strangers unless you want to see a horror movie about stupid characters getting their own end. Anyways, that's it for my view of The Strangers. When I rate The Strangers, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you want to see a bunch of characters making stupid decisions after another, yeah, you will get that here, but other than that, I would just avoid this film and watch many other better horror invasion films. If I'm going to rate The Strangers, I'm going to give The Strangers a 5 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That officially wraps up my review for The Strangers. And I want to know in the comments down below what you guys think about The Strangers, whether you're one of the few that likes this movie, or one of the many like me and Cody Leach themselves who also don't like this movie. And our next episode is going to be an epic rant. And you'll see what it is in tomorrow. But until then, guys, that'll be it for this episode of review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.